Hello, it's Chris Voss here from the chrisvossshow.com, the chrisvossshow.com. Kind of blog post we want to share with you, of course, review the latest in social media technology. We're reviewing the iPhone 4S and the HTC EVO 4G. This is found through Verizon, this phone in particular that we're using today, and this is through Virgin Mobile. This is a Virgin Mobile phone that you can take and get from virginmobile.com. And this runs on the Verizon network. This will run on the Sprint network. Sprint owns Verizon Mobile. Now we're kind of comparing two different OS phones. Of course, here we have the Apple OS, and we have the some of the latest renditions from the Android system, which is Ice Cream Sandwich 4.0 in the HTC phone. So we're going to compare these two, and at the end I'll tell you what I think. Let's get a good idea in comparing the phones side by side as to what they are, how they do, what they do, etc., etc. In looking at the Apple phone, what you're looking at is, now keep in mind, the Apple phone is probably about 6 months to 8 months older than the HTC. In a short while they'll be doing an update here, probably with the iPhone 5 coming up, but we're going to compare the two. So it's got an LED backlit capacitive touchscreen with 16 million colors, 60 by 90 pixels, 3.5-inch screen, and let's see, it's got no card slot memory, no additional upgrading memory you can do other than buying it. When you buy it internally, you could buy a 16, 32, or 64 gigabytes of storage. Comes with 512 megabytes of RAM. And let's see, also, wants to shut off on us there. Also, on the back of the camera, it's got an 8 megapixel camera, LED flash. It's got touch focus, geotagging, face detection, HDR, and on video, it's got 1080p, 30 frames per second, LED video light, video stabilization, and it's got a front-facing camera. I believe this is just a 1 megapixel camera. I don't have that data here, but most likely everyone knows it's not the greatest front-facing camera in the world. On the OS, it's iOS 5.1, 2, or 3 that we're using right now. It's got a dual-core 1 gigahertz Cortex A9, and basically that's the breakdown of it. It's got a 1432 milliamp battery that's in it, 200 hours 2G times, 200 hours 3G times talk time. Now, the other aspect about this phone that's a downer for the HTC that we're comparing it with, of course, is that it's only 3G capable. You can't do 4G with these phones. They can't access the 4G LTE networks, and it's very limited. Now, hopefully the new iPhone 5 will come out and will begin to compete in that manner. But it's very important that they do. In taking a look at the body style's got a glass front, glass back. It's definitely something where if you drop it once or twice, it's probably going to shatter. You can see it's got a very simple home button, of course, on the front of it. You've got a speaker area here. You've got a front-facing camera right here. Across the top, we have the earphone plug, the microphone area also. We've got a power button, on and off power button. Down the side, you've got a place for the SIM card. On the bottom, you've got your connector for your power supply, USB cable, all that good stuff. You've also got the speakers on the bottom there. On the left-hand side, you've got your your rocker button for your volume up and down. You've also got a mute switch, so you've got that. On the back, you have a camera lens and a camera flash. And this metal ring that you see here, this is a third-party add-on that I've taken and done. It's glued to the device. I use this to attach my magnetic lenses that take great photos for me. And you can see it's got a beautiful glass slick back. It's fairly small in size compared to a lot of the different cell phones that are out there nowadays, especially in the Android series, even in the Windows Nokia series. It's probably one of the last small screen phones around. So that being that, let's take a look at the Android phone. This is of course running on the latest Android 4.0 ICS. Hopefully it'll upgrade from there. Love this phone. It's a great phone. It feels very comfortable to me, maybe because it's almost the same width as it's a little bit bigger than the iPhone, but it's not too big. It doesn't have that big broad feeling to you. You can see here you've got the buttons down here, where you've got the home button, menu, back, search. Across the bottom you've got an area there where you can plug in, or where you can break this thing open, take the back off, and take the battery in and out if you like, or adjust the SIM card. But let's give you a rundown of the specs on the Android EVO 4G. I should call it the EVO V 4G. Let's take a rundown of the specs. You're looking at a 4.3 touchscreen. You're looking at it will do 3 or 4G networks. It's got a 5 megapixel camera on the back and a 1.3 front-facing camera. The one thing that is cool about this phone that I really like is it does 3D camera photos, video, and pictures, and it's really awesome. And the screen is built in such a way where you can actually watch 3D videos and stuff on it and not have to have the glasses, which is really cool. Let's see, what else do we want to cover. It's got a 1.2 gigahertz processor in it. It's got an 8 gigabyte card that's included usually with it. It's expandable to 32 gigabytes, of course, with the SD memory card. It's got HDMI output, which is really cool. It's got Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, talk time 6 hours. Let's see, I think we pretty much got it. Touchscreen, 4.3 size touchscreen. So those are the big differences between, well, the specs that you can see here between the two. Let's walk around the body some more. On the side, you've got a switch that you can switch between 2D mode and 3D mode, three-dimensional camera mode, and you've also got a shutter button where you can hit that and take pictures and instigate your video. You can see across the back here it actually has 2 lenses and 2 flashes, so this works for the 3D mode, which is really cool. And let's see, what else do we have. We also have the across the top we have a small microphone hole, and then there's also the earphone hole, and then there's the power button. And on the right hand side too, we also have the up and down volume rockers, so we have those. Down the other side we just have the plug-in for the charger, and so you can take and do that. It's got a nice rubberized back to it that grips fairly well. Let's take a look. Now what you can do with this, of course, is pop off the back. It's got a simple back that pops off, and in here you can see that we have a place for the battery, and then there's a place for your SIM card where you can have up to 32 gigabytes of memory to put in here, store your photos, switch them out, all that good stuff. So we'll go ahead and put our phones back together there. So first off, let's take a look at the displays and see the size of the displays. We'll compare these. You can see here that the display on the EVO V 4G is pretty huge on the HTC comparatively to the Apple. Given width, it's even a little bit more wider than the Apple, actually quite a bit wider when it really comes down to it, so you can really see that there. So it's got a much more bigger display. Now the iPhone does have Retina display, and you can notice some higher quality in the colors, and the colors are more vibrant, the icons are a little bit more sharp. You know, you don't notice much of a difference between that and the Android phone. I really don't think it's that big of a deal when it comes to Retina display. I'd much sooner have a larger screen, and that's the reason that I really love the Android product that's out, is the larger screen. So let's talk about a few different things with the phones itself. Let's go to the cameras. Now the cameras, of course, we're really comparing apples to oranges here, because we've got an 8 megapixel camera on the iPhone. With the HTC, you've got the 5 megapixel camera. The HTC does take really good photos. They're not the greatest. The color sometimes is a little weak on them. On video, you don't get the full colors that we see in some of the other phones that we have. I don't know how well that's going to really pass through to you, given you were going through a phone. But what is fun about this phone, and it's a part of the phone that I really love. In fact, it would be cool if the iPhone came out with 3D. But this is three-dimensional video that you can see here, and you may not be able to pick up on it as well. But what this is you can rotate the phone around and move and be able to see at the right angles the 3D, three-dimensional videos that you've done. Now, what's really cool is you can upload these to YouTube. You can instruct YouTube to make them 3D videos. And what's really cool is I send them to my nephews and go, and they watch them in their 3D with their 3D glasses. So it's really fun. It's a lot of fun to make the movies and see if you can do things that take advantage of that 3D experience. So that's one really fun aspect of it. I would love it if the iPhone came out with a 3D camera. That would be fun. So I really enjoyed that with this phone. And what's really nice is if you don't want to do 3D, you can choose between it. Now, the one thing that differentiates the Android phones from the iPhone is you have a lot more control over settings. You have control over image adjustments, white balance, ISOs, etc., all sorts of stuff that you don't have that's native to the iPhone camera. The iPhone camera is pretty much shoot and click. You have a few post-editing things, but other than that, you're stuck with the way it's set up. Where in this, with the Android system, you can add effects and everything internally that are built in the system. You don't have to buy third-party apps to take and do those. With the iPhone, of course, you get incredible pictures. We've even compared them with some 12-megapixel phones and been super impressed with the quality of pictures that have come out on them. Ooh, looks like we got some pictures of my burnt foot that you got there, so have fun with that. But great pictures that come onto the iPhone. I'm seeing if I can find one here. It looks like I have a lot of data lately. Oh, look, here's some good stuff. Check that out. Really vibrant colors, but not too overbearing on the red, yellow, greens, and blues. Just great color balance. Wonderful photos that come out with the iPhone. It's really, in a comparison with most Android phones, the iPhone will beat them hands down each and every time. It's really interesting to me. I have a lot of Android friends, and they never seem to compare, and they're like, my iPhone's better. And as soon as we go side by side, click by click on photos, they'll be like, yeah, the iPhone is better. So sorry, Android people. I have 4 Android phones. I wish I could say they were better in the camera area, but they're not. So let's take a look at a few other things that we want to take a look at. Now, obviously, gaming or watching movies on this thing is going to be a lot better with the HTC. Playing games, watching movies is going to be a whole lot nicer than what you get, because you can see the definite size of the screen here. It's much more bigger. The great thing about the difference between these two devices pretty much comes down to the ecosystems that they've taken and developed. Obviously, the iPhone's been around much longer and has far outpaced the Android in apps. It also does get apps sooner, quicker, faster, and some of the more innovative apps than Android. Android kind of comes secondary. One of the biggest problems with the Android is the fragmentation of the Android system. I'm going to tell you why I like a certain phone over the others, and I think it wins. One of the problems that I have with the Android system is I get tired of being told that if I hold my breath long enough, there'll be an update coming out for my phone. I don't know when. My friends get their updates on their different phones. I don't get mine, or it's a complete dice crap if I'm going to get an upgrade. I don't like that. I don't like the fragmentation of the OS systems, and how you never know if your phone's going to get upgraded. I love the Apple system where you always know it's going to get upgraded. You always know what you're getting. You get consistent results with it. They've got great apps. The App Store on the Android system has definitely caught up and matured. It, of course, keeps up pretty much with the iPhone when it comes to great apps now. Most great apps that build for both the iPhone and the Android. So it's comparable there, but still you get the better apps on the iPhone that come out much sooner, faster, and better games, better programming, all that sort of good stuff. And I gotta tell you, there's a lot more free apps on the iPhone as opposed to the Android. I noticed that there's a lot of stuff that I would normally get for free or cheap on the iPhone that I actually have to pay a little bit more on the Android. And that's the God's honest truth when you compare the two. I love the Android product. I'm in love with what's coming up with Jelly Bean and everything else, and I think this is a great product. The biggest holdback I have about the iPhone is the screen, And the people who have taught that to me is the Android product, because I'm tired of the small screen. I want a big screen that I can really enjoy and that I could really do stuff with. And I don't want a small little screen that I have to peer into. The Galaxy S3 is a good example recently of a giant, beautiful phone that I hope the iPhone turns into. Overall, with the better picture quality and the better apps, the better ecosystem, one of the other great things that is with the iPhone system is they tend to stay with the same body style for 2 years. And what's great about that is product makers can make the most endless, amazing products for the iPhone, and they can't ever go wrong, where as opposed to the Android product, you've got so much diversity, so much different cases, no one can really build for them, and it's hard to keep up with all the different changes that they make. So what's really cool, and then you can see this on the chrisvossshow.com, is there's a ton of different products they make for the iPhone. And they're some of the funnest, coolest, awesomest products in the world. And unfortunately, because of the body style fragmentation that comes with Android, you just can't get that same experience of having tons of stuff to add on to your product. So overall, I think the iPhone definitely wins this battle, being the better phone. In the end, I would like to see great products come out of the Android product. Like I say, I have 4 Android phones and I have 1 iPhone. So I would like to see great stuff keep coming out of Google. If you're a really big Google fan, you love using Google Docs, Google Music, all that sort of good stuff, like I do, the Android, of course, is a great product for you. But you can utilize a lot of the same stuff on the iPhone. I can get Google Music, pretty much Google Docs, all that sort of good stuff on my iPhone. So it's still pretty much keeping competitive, where you're not losing a lot of Google ground even if you don't have a Google phone. So in the end, I'd recommend definitely investing in the iPhone product. Here in a few months for this video, I think less than 2, they'll actually have the iPhone 5 out. But be sure to check out both phones. One thing that is interesting about this is a Verizon phone. It cost me about $120, $130 a month to take and have this phone, and that's without a hotspot. With this phone here, this is run through Virgin Mobile. And with Virgin Mobile, you pay $35 a month. You get unlimited calling, texting, and data, which is pretty awesome. For an extra $15 a month, you can have hotspot. Now, the speed and quality, as we all know, between Verizon and Sprint is quite a large chasm, but you're getting a much cheaper phone. And overall, if you look at Virgin Mobile stats and everything, if you use their phones, you can save about $1,000 a year over what I would pay at Verizon. That's the truth with me sitting down with both bills. So there is something to say about saving $1,000 a year. $1,000 is $1,000, and you can decide what works best for your budget and what works good for you in phones. So that's my feeling on the phones. I do love the HTC EVO 4G. Don't have anything bad to say about it. I do wish I had a better camera, but that's just applicable to the times and release and what these companies build into them. But it's a great phone. I love the 3D element of it. I had a lot of fun with the 3D element. I mean, just lots of fun. I actually wish it was on the iPhone. So anyway, that's my feeling. I love the iPhone. Be sure to check back to the chrisvossshow.com often. And thank you, Virgin Mobile, for providing the phones for us for the HTC EVO G comparison. Be sure to check back often and into some of the other phone comparisons that we do. There should be some in the box on YouTube below this video in the Show More area. Thanks for coming by.